Luxeverb is FL Studio's most advanced native reverb plugin. It is a high-quality algorithmic reverb built around delay line processing rather than traditional room modeling. The wet gain knob controls the input level going into the reverb path. The high cut knob removes high frequencies from the signal entering the reverb, which helps tame harshness. The low cut knob removes low frequencies from the signal entering the reverb, useful for getting rid of muddy frequencies. The decay knob controls how long the reverb tail lasts. The brightness knob controls the high frequency content in the tail. The size knob controls the spacing and density of the early reflections. Should note that size does not affect the overall decay time. The diffusion knob controls how much the reflections are scattered. Higher values create smoother, denser, more natural tail. The character knob changes the structure of the echoes. Lower values create grittier, more individual echoes. Higher creates fuzzy and bunched echoes. The pre-delay knob controls the time before the reverb starts after the dry signal. The T button makes it tempo synced. The mod amp knob controls the depth of modulation in the reverb tail, the mod frequency speed of that modulation. These switches control the reverb's behavior. Normal is normal reverb behavior. Freeze cuts new input and sustains whatever is currently in the reverb. Sustain keeps input open so the reverb keeps building while you play. The high quality button, when on, creates better fidelity and longer high frequencies, but uses more CPU. The high and low cut knobs are filters on the feedback loop, essential when using pitch shifting to prevent things getting too shrill when you pitch up or muddy when you pitch down. The pitch shift slider shifts the pitch of the signal being fed back into the reverb up or down. The gain slider controls the amount of feedback. The delay knob with the tempo sync button controls the extra delay before the feedback signal returns to the reverb. The reverb mix knob controls how much of the wet reverberated signal versus dry goes back into the feedback loop. Higher values create smoother feedback over time. The output section controls the final processing on the wet signal. The dry slider controls the level of the original unaffected signal. The wet slider controls the level of the reverb signal. The L disables the output limiter on the wet signal. The peak frequency, gain, and Q control a peaking Bell EQ filter applied to the wet signal at the very end. Great for carving or boosting specific frequencies in the reverb tail. The width knob controls the stereo width of the wet signal. This section is an envelope follower that can dynamically control either the wet level or the decay time. The off-wet decay switch lets you choose what gets modulated. Wet modulates reverb volume. Decay modulates how long the tail lasts. The threshold knob controls the level above which modulation starts, like a compressor threshold. The scale knob controls how strongly the envelope affects the target. Positive values create swelling reverb. Negative create ducking sidechain style reverb. The low cut knob filters lows from the envelope detector, which helps it react better to transients. The offset knob makes modulation bipolar, which means it goes both above and below the set value. Sidechain uses an external sidechain signal from another mixer track instead of the plugin's own input. The attack, decay, and smooth are standard envelope follower controls. The display spectrum view area shows the input envelope in blue, threshold in orange, and the modulation curve for wet in green or decay in red, depending on the mode. You can also view the actual wet output waveform underneath. There's a peaks view option too.